Hi, I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. Today I'm going to show you how to play The Crew, The Quest for Planet 9. It's ages 10 and up, 3 to 5 players, and it takes 20 minutes to play a mission or two. It will take a few hours or so to complete all 50 missions for this game. The goal of the game is to complete all 50 of the missions in your logbook side of your rule. You can complete them in any order you like, although it is recommended that you start with one and move forward because they become more difficult as you move along. And to begin, you go to page 2 of your logbook and fill in your crew name, who is on your crew, and there's a little X at the top of that, and that's where you fill in your score for each round of play as you go. I am going to walk you through the first mission on page 4 of the logbook. To begin every mission, you deal out all of the cards, the large cards in your deck, to every player, even if an uneven number comes out. You need every card out there. I have set up a 4-player game here, so they have all been dealt out evenly. The cards are face down. No one can see your cards but you, but I have them face up for demonstrating purposes. There are 4 different colors or kind of suits of cards, and then numbered 1 through 9 for each one, no repeats. They even have nice symbols along here. If somebody's colorblind, they can still play. And then there are 4 rocket cards numbered 1 through 4 that serve as trump. Whoever is dealt the number 4 rocket is the commander for the particular mission you are on, is given this commander token as a reminder of that, and they will be able to lead the first trick of the game. For the first mission, there is a number 1 icon over here in the corner, which means you take one of these small cards, and that is the card that a particular person is going to have to collect for this mission. For future missions, that number of card increases, and sometimes there are tokens that correspond to those cards, which I will explain here in a moment. So for the first mission, it's just this green 8 that's out there, and the commander must select the mission card first, and since there's only one out there, he's collecting this, and what this means is for this mission, he has to collect this in a trick, this particular card, and if he does that, you win the mission, and it ends instantly. You don't have to play out all of the cards. If he collects this, you've won. If somebody else collects it, you've instantly lost and need to start the mission over. You are going to want to reference a chart on page 14 of the rule side of your booklet. It explains all of the task tokens that correspond with the task cards. So if you have a mission that has some of these numbers involved, what you do is you place them out and then you deal out your task cards in order in front of them. And then we'll say the commander is over on this side. They get first choice on which of these they wish to choose. It depends on what they have in their hand. So let's say they go ahead and pick this one and place it in front of them. Well, now it's the next person, clockwise, their turn to pick. And if they go ahead and pick this one, this person is left with this one and they have to select that card. And now the commander will still play the first card out to start play, but this card must be collected in a trick first. It does not have to be the first trick, but it has to be the first of these 3 cards that are collected. So this is the first. It could be a few tricks in. They're able to take this one. And then the next card that must be collected is this one. And it doesn't have to be immediately following this. It can be a couple tricks later, but this is the next one collected of these 3. And then finally, this one must be collected. Next, there are rank tokens. And again, if, let's say this had these 2 rank tokens, but 3 task cards that were to be dealt out, what you would do is you would put these out, deal out your first in front of this, deal out your second in front of this, and then the third one wouldn't be associated with a rank. And so each, let's say again, the commander's over here, so they get first choice, And they don't have to choose the first one. They decide based on their hand to choose this one. And then this person picks this one, and this person is left with this. The rank tokens just mean this can be collected at any time. It doesn't matter whenever this is collected in a trick. But this one must be collected before this one is collected. So it's slightly more flexible than 1, 2, 3. It's just the order of the ones. Sometimes it means the same thing, but if there's another one, this one is flexible and there is no number associated with it. And sometimes you have a situation like this where there are these 2 task tokens for a particular round, but you are supposed to use 3 task cards. So you deal them out like this. And again, the commander just keeps on ending up being on this side. He gets to pick whichever one, but this is attached to the card it is by. And this omega symbol means this has to be the final card taken in a trick of these that are out here. So here, this is the first. This would clearly then be the second, and this would have to be the final one. Here we are back at mission 1, and it is time to talk about communication during rounds. This is a cooperative game, but you can't say anything to each other. There is a radio communication token you can use once all of the cards have been dealt out and the task cards have been selected by the appropriate players. You can choose to use this token once every mission. It must be before a trick begins, never during a trick. So this player could choose to put this card out here, and if he did so, he would place his communication token in the middle because it is his only card of that color. When you have placed this, you place it by you, and you put this card in your hand to remind you that this card is out on the table. So you'd be holding your cards up like this, and this is out where everybody can see it. You don't think you'll forget that this card is part of your hand, but you do. So you need to put this card in your hand when you've communicated another card. There's a handy little picture on page 6 of the rules to reference for how to use your radio communication token. You can use it to communicate. If this person was playing this card out here for everyone to know, this is his highest of the yellows, or he could do this one and have it be the lowest of the yellows if that was something that mattered for this round. But you cannot communicate a card. You can only communicate it if it's highest, lowest, or your only. Certain cards you cannot communicate about. This one, he would not be able to say, oh, this is my middle 4. There's no way to say that. However, he could wait a round or 2, and if he's played some other cards, if this has come, a trick has taken this one away, and he's left with these 2 cards, that's why sometimes you want to wait, and then you can choose to communicate later in the game after a few tricks have happened, never during a trick, and then he'd be able to place this one out here as his highest green. You can never use a radio communication token on one of your rocket cards. So let's play the first round. Commander gets to go first, and he could take it in the first trick if he really wanted to, but we're going to show how a couple tricks play out. If you haven't played a lot of card games, whatever suit is played out there, you have to follow suit, and then the highest card of that suit would win the trick. So this person has placed their highest card. They get to take the trick. You place them face down beside you, and for reference, you're only going to be able to look back at the most recent trick taken. So if he plays his other blue card, once you no longer have any cards of that suit, then you can play whatever cards you like. They do not have to follow suit. This is a chance to get rid of cards that you don't want to have in your hands because they're going to take cards you don't want for future turns. Or, in this case, the commander can trump their way back into the lead. Everybody else has to follow suit. And then the commander has taken this trick, and we'll say at this point, this person decides to communicate that this is their highest green. They take the reminder card into their hand, so the commander knows that they are safe to play their 8 out here because they will not play the 9 and take that. They're going to play one of their lower greens. This person plays theirs and turns this over to red because they've played their single card, and this gets removed from their hand because they don't need that anymore. They played the card. This person plays this, and they have won their mission card because the commander took it and he was the one who was supposed to, and you don't have to play the rest of these cards. You have completed mission 1. Hooray, it is time to move on. Once you've completed your mission, you mark how many attempts it took you to complete it in your logbook. This is for team 1. If you had multiple teams going through, there's different places for numbers for different missions. It's not the number of tricks you had to take in order to complete the mission, it's the number of attempts. So you would have just 1 here because it took 1 attempt to finish. There is a place to mark for using your emergency distress call, which you do not need to use for any mission. They are all possible to be completed without using this, but it gets quite intense later on and you might want to use it, and it usually is flipped down. But if after everyone has dealt out their cards and all of the mission cards have been assigned to particular players, at that point, before anything, no radio communication, no using these yet, before any cards have been communicated, someone can say, I want to do an emergency distress call. And what that does is, if everyone agrees to flip this, you immediately circle this on your logbook for that mission, and it is permanently on for that particular mission from then on, and it increases your score for that mission by 1. So if we had used this before mission 1, the score would have been 2. And what you do if you've done that is each player selects 1 card that they can choose to pass to the person next to them, clockwise. It only increases your mission score by 1, so even if it's a very tricky level way further on and it takes you like 5 or 6 times to finish it, if it took you 6 times to complete the mission and you had flipped this, then your total score for that mission would have been 7. So that's how to play The Crew. It is cooperative but challenging. It is a fantastic game, but particularly if you grew up playing card games, you're going to absolutely love this game. So check it out. Thanks, and see you next time from Game Like a Mother.